Hey, good night, good night, good night, good night, and good morning, good noon, wherever it is that you may be streaming and catching this later after we have spoken. My name is Joneil Germain Alcock. You will see it down there, and I am a motivational speaker and the author of the book, How to Achieve Goals Fast 10 Proven Tips for Success. And I just wanted to come on quickly on LinkedIn to show some things about how it is that you can plan for your goals in your life in 10 minutes or less. Seems impossible, but the reason why I put it like that is because I want you to see your possibilities in who you are more than a haphazardness or more than the 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 nitty gritties and be able to fine tune what you want to do. Do it to the best of your abilities and execute. Ready? Let's get into it. So, very quickly, the first thing before you start to try to figure out who you are or your goals is to figure out what your aim in life is. Now, if I asked you the question, who are you? Would you simply say, I am a doctor, or I am a lawyer, I am a teacher at the primary school, I am such and such and such and such. And if you see yourself in this kind of narrow minded way, then unfortunately you are not fully aware of who you are emotionally, spiritually, socially, financially, and all of the other alleys that you could ever think of. Now, if I was to speak about myself, I would say very quickly that I am a digital marketer who is a brand storyteller for world-class brands. And I work to create impact for them so that they drive revenue and sales and are able to tell their great stories out there in the wider space of the internet. If I wanted to talk about one of the other things I do in life, I could say something like, I am an impactful speaker who tries to impart godly wisdom to show people how to improve themselves personally and professionally. And you've got to have a mission statement. You've got to have an idea of who you are. You've got to have the capability of doing that, or else you can't move to the next stage, which is where you now have to be smart. And if you read my article on my LinkedIn so far, if you haven't, please go back and read it. You will see quite quickly that it is really just an acronym to assist you to be streamlined with the goals that you have for your life. S means specific, M means measurable, A means achievable, R means realistic, and T means time bound. Some persons use the term achievable and say attainable. Some people use the term relevant and say realistic. But any way you want to put it, you have to look at your life as more than just I am awake this morning, I am going to just go to work my 9 to 5, or I'm just going to try to take care of these kids. I'm just gonna pay these bills. I'm just gonna be here. Blah. What thing makes you alive? What goal makes you want to push out and be alive into this world? What are you aiming for in the fullness of what God asked you to be? And you've got to get a new passion for yourself and your life. You've got to find a way to move out there in a smarter manner. So, for example, I will quickly show this slide and then another. You now have an aim or a goal for your life. I gave you two ideas of things that I want for myself. But when you want to do something specific from that major goal or that major aim, now it is that you have to fine tune it and find what they call a sub goal or a sub aim. Our main goal right there, but just presume that you have a overarching aim, mission statement, or vision statement for your life. And then from there, you want to try to find smaller things to do out of it that will make you who you say you are. And when you find that, now you have to put specificity to it, which is what the S in the SMART is for. And the only way your dreams can become alive is if you make it fit in the physical realm. Is if you put a deadline to it. Is if you put timelines to it. And that is how you now become specific. How will you know when this goal is completed? You will know when this goal is completed when the things that you have set out and written for this specific goal lines up to then reach to the point of this specific deadline. And this is where the measuring and realizing what you're doing is achievable comes from. Why are you doing this? Why is this relevant to the space in which you're in? What is the mannerism in which you have started to do this so that you can become who you want to be? And that, many times, unfortunately, ends up where people presume it is something in relation to their financial prosperity. But I can guarantee, because I've seen many people struggle with this, I also, when I was younger, had these issues, that it won't hold you for long. You have to have a deeper sense of who you are. You have to have a deeper why. You have to have a reason that when it is that you're moving towards this goal, you're moving towards these objectives that you've set out for yourself, you have reached a point where you say, no, I'm going to do this because when my mother died, I told her I would do this and help my community. Something like that. I'm making examples. I'm going to do this because I love my wife or my significant other, whichever it is, and I want them to have the best life possible. And how I do that is by achieving these objectives on these specific timelines at this specific deadline. I'm going to do this because I have built this company and certain amounts of people depend on me in order to achieve the things that are going on. So I have to achieve it so that I do the best that I can do for them. But what's your why? You have to figure it out. You have to make it strong enough. And at the point when it is that you want to be demotivated or not want to do the things that you know you can do, then it will help you to push towards where you can go. And from there, you build some subtasks to the main goal with the deadline, split it up into 2, 3, 4, 5 different tasks. That once you know you do each of them on a specific timeline with specific deadlines of their own, it will lead to the wider goal. What beats people is that many times they try to do something and it looks difficult because, trying to do things with all sorts of things going on is difficult. But if you break down that larger task into smaller itty bitty pieces over time with their own smaller specific timelines and deadlines, and also reach out to people who can help you and reach out to people who can advise you and seek out the places where the resources may be lacking and then figure out yourself. And over time, all of a sudden, this big aim, this big goal that you thought was overwhelming or would crush you becomes more realistic, relevant, and achievable. So let me show you an example. So I spoke some things in relation to myself and who I am. And one of the things I alluded to is that I am someone who inspires others to set meaningful goals, deepen their faith, and pursue a path to personal and professional prosperity. And one of my main goals from that larger overarching aim is that I will write a book that empowers others to figure out their goals and achieve them quickly. Of course, I'm speaking about a book I wrote before, but I'm showing you how in my mind, and writing things down, I found a way to then produce that book. If you missed me talking a little bit about that, you can go on my LinkedIn in the newsletter and you'll see me talking about how I wrote the book, How to Achieve Goals Fast with Strategic Planning, 10 Proven Tips for Success. What is your goal specific deadline? I'm giving a hypothetical scenario where if today was the day I started to think about it, I would want to try to complete it within a specific time period, at a specific day, at a specific time. Be so specific that you have to put it in your calendar, on your Google Calendar, or whatever area it is, so that you know specifically where you're going. How will you know this goal is completed? I will be completed when I have 20,000 words, 10 chapters, an intro and afterword, and the book cover is completed. The book will be proofread and the inside pages will be typeset. I chose the 20,000 words because it is a smaller type of book and it's probably easier to complete and then put on Amazon or one of the other places that you can sell things online, or to quickly figure out a printer to print it and you can sell it to people. Of course, it's an example and you can use something to replace these for your own goals. And then I now break down that larger goal of the 20,000 words, where you see here, write daily 1,428 words. That is 20,000 words divided by 14, which is 2 weeks. So I gave myself 2 weeks. I would complete the manuscript by April the 4th, which is 2 weeks from now. The book cover will be done by the designer at a specific date and then being reviewed by me at a specific date. And then the things will be sent back to me at a specific date. The person who is reading the book after I have written it and completed it by the 4th will receive it on the 4th and then return the changes by a specific date. And then we will complete the proofreading and the figuring out of what it looks like by the 11th. Then the designer will also design the book. After you design the book and I've started to finish writing everything in there and proofread it, will now take the content, fix up the inside pages and return it by the date that I set in my main goal. Let me go back for a quick second. This is where I said complete within 4 weeks on April the 18th. So what I did was to break down the tasks into all of the subtasks that I listed in how will you know this goal is completed, when certain things are written, when the book is proofread, when the inside pages are typeset, when a designer completes some things in relation to it. And then I set specific timelines and sub goals, or rather sub objectives for each of the specific sections that will then allow me to get to that task. The why that I put there is that I will do this to ensure the people in my living and church community know how to become great at the task they aim for and become the best they can be for Christ. Now, your aim doesn't have to be as deeply spiritual as mine, and it could be something in relation to helping somebody who's not so well off. It could be something in relation to trying to figure out your finances better and improve it. It could be in relation to helping a family member or a friend. It could be something that is relatable. But now that you have set the path, this is an example, and you know who you are, what your subtasks are, what timeline and deadline you want to do. Whatever you're doing is relevant and you can achieve it in a specific time, and you've set specific things in place so you can measure it and say, no, I didn't do it at that time, I can adjust. Now you are on a quicker and a better path to be able to complete the things that you need to do. Next time we speak, I am going to go even deeper and show you that you don't have to just be smart. You can also be smarter. If you don't understand what I mean, next time when we speak, you will see. But now is the hard part. You have to find a way to execute what you have put in place, which we'll speak about next at another juncture. And if you don't execute, then all these pretty numbers and dates and times and the subtasks and all of the people that you say are depending on you won't get the thing that you say you will put out there, and you won't be able to achieve what you said you could achieve. I am going to be having a deeper discussion on these things, please do navigate to joneilorcup.com/finishstrong2025. And I'll see you there on the other side next week. Friday is the next session in relation to that. But in between that, I intend to share more on some things on goal planning and how you can be the best you can be and focus and finally execute the things that you say you wish to do. Ditch the excuses. You have the abilities, you have the time, the resources you think you don't have, it can come to you or you can manufacture it. It's time for you to finally finish what you said you would finish. Until next time, later.